Hello, hello, hello. My name is Teacher Godfrey Frank Mwega, aka GFM, and welcome once again in another video whereby we're gonna do one of the questions which was asked in our seminar hours. Yes, question number 1 concerning company accounts. So how do you do company accounts in the case of forfeiture? In case they are forfeited shares, how do you record? And by the way, what is share forfeiture? Well, this lesson was made especially for you to understand what is forfeiture of shares. So do you want to know? Let's go! Alright, so in our question, we're told that the company wanted to raise a 10 billion. The company wanted to raise 10 billion, but in their bank account they had a balance of 10 million, right? So they issued more shares, right? They've issued more shares. And those 10 billion which they wanted to issue at a nominal value of 100. Nominal value was 100 billion. So what is nominal value? Nominal value simply means that minimum amount of money per share which a company stated that it's going to offer its shares in the market. So the minimum amount which the company have stated in their memorandum of association and in their article of association, that is nominal value, that each shares they will sell it at 100, right? So when they issued 10 million, when they issued 40 million shares, those were the shares which they issued. When they issued 40 million shares, they said they will issue them at an issue price of 125. 125. This was the issue price. Now this issue price, if you can see, it's 125, which means it's above nominal value. Above nominal value. Any price above nominal value simply refers to issue of shares at premium. Issue of shares at premium. So when you take 125 minus 100, you will get 25. So this 25 to the company, that is premium. Premium is any amount which is above nominal value, whereby it occurs that the company's shares are highly demanded to the public. So the company would like to offer those shares at premium. You do know that the higher the demand, the higher the price, right? So, yes, you do know that the higher the demand, the higher the price. Why? When a company sees that its shares are highly demanded, obviously it's going to rise its prices. Okay, so let's get to the point. How do you do this question? When the company issued 40 million shares at 125, and we were told that when they issued 40 million shares, 65 million applied. So we have oversubscription. I want to explain to you this question before solving it so that you may easily understand, right? I don't want you to cram the solutions. I want you to get the picture. That 40 million was allotted or was invited by the company to the public, but 65 million applied. 65 million applied, meaning that 65 minus 40, there were 25 million excess shares. Now, according to the memorandum of association, the company cannot issue more than the shares stated in the memorandum of association, meaning that the company cannot issue more shares than the shares which they have stated that they will issue. So when it happens that there is excess shares, this excess will be, the excess money will be used to pay in the stage called allotment. Meaning that they will be given the shares, then the the amount of shares which they have exceeded will be used to be paid at the allotment stage. We're going to see shortly how do we record that. So you get the picture. The picture is that they applied, they issued 40 million shares, but they have applied 25 million excess. They have applied 60 million applicants. We cannot give all of them the shares, right? We must only give them 40. Now this 25 will be used to pay in the next stage. But slow down, slow down. Before we use this 25, we were told that 15 million shares were rejected. 15 million shares were what? Were rejected. So 65 minus 15. You get what? You get 50. So out from 65, 50 were remaining because 15 were rejected. So they issued 40 million, right? They applied 65, right? They applied 65. They issued 40 million, they applied 65. But they rejected 15, so it remained 50. 50 minus 40, 10. So 10 million shares was in excess. 10 million shares was in excess. So instead of using 25 million shares for the next stage of allotment, we use 10 million because 15 million shares were rejected. You get my point? All right? But also we were told that 32 million shareholders were successful to pay at the cause stage. When they were called to pay, they were successful to pay only 32 million. 8 million shares failed to be paid for, right? 8 million shares failed to be paid for. So there is something called call in arrears. Call in what? Call in arrears. What is call in arrears? Call in arrears simply means that it's those types of shares which were failed to be paid for when the due date has arrived. Example, as a company, we told shareholders that on the next month of July, they need to pay 40 million shares, but only 32 came to pay. So those 8 who failed to pay, we will call them call in arrears. Call in arrears. So to us, it will be like a current asset to the company. To the company, it will be like a current asset until the day in which they pay. And if they fail to do so, we forfeit. What is forfeiture? We were told that these 8 million, when they failed to be paid, they were forfeited. They were forfeited. Forfeiture simply means cancellation of shares. Say cancellation of shares. Yeah, I know forfeiture is a really difficult word. Instead of saying forfeiture, somebody can bite his lips and say forfeiture, But don't worry about the word forfeiture. It simply means cancellation of shares. Alright? Yeah. Forfeiture means what? Cancellation of shares. So when you hear the word forfeiture, it simply means those 8 million which were given to them, they were taken back by the company. And according to the company article of association, when they forfeit the shares, they are not going to refund the applicants. Yani, if you are a shareholder and you fail to pay at that stage, your money will not be returned to you. All right. So to the company, that will be as a reserve. I hope now you got the picture of the question. I'll repeat. They issued 40 million shares. They issued 40 million shares. They applied 65 million applicants. They have rejected from this 65. They have rejected 15. So remains what? 50. Remember, they issued how many? 40. 50 minus 40, you get 10. This 10 means excess applicants. So what will we do? The money obtained in excess applicants will be used as allotment money at the allotment stage. You want to know how we're going to do it? Let's go. The first account to be opened, in company is called bank account. we were told that there was a balance of 10 million. Balance of 10 million. Now, because the zeros are so many, we're going to summarize. We're going to write 3 zeros on top. Because the figures are really big. So there was 10 million balance. Okay? There's 10 million balance. Now, they applied 65 million. So, application money was received for 65 million. So, you write 65 times 40. What is 40? 40 was the application money per share. So 65 million times 40, you will get 2 billion 600 million. Remember, the 3 zeros are on the top. So you take 65 million times 40. Please calculate. Okay? After that, you complete the going. So you open application account. Complete double entry. So double entry of this transaction will be recorded in ordinary share application account. You will say money from bank. How many? 2. Remember, there is 3 zeros. So as to summarize, 3 zeros, 2 billion 600 million. Money received on application. Money received on application. So, we were told that there were shares which were rejected. 15 million were rejected. So take 15 million times application money. 15 million times application money, which is 40, you'll get 600 million. So 600 million from these were rejected. So it will return to the bank so as to be refunded to the shareholders. 15 million times 40, you get 600 million. The 3 zeros are on top. So you complete double entry. Complete what? Double entry. So after that, you're finished. You have to transfer the amount to ordinary share capital account. Transfer amount to ordinary share capital account. How do you transfer the amount to ordinary share capital account? They wanted to raise 40 million shares, right? So you take 40 million times application money per share, which is 40. 40 times 40, and 40 million times 40 shillings, you'll get 1 billion 600 million. Remember guys, in your question, don't forget to write the dates. Now, since I'm just solving, the dates is a small issue. So you just, in your account, put the dates. You were given dates, so put the dates. Put the dates. I'm just explaining so that you can get an overview. But remember, you have to put the what? You have to put the dates. You have to put the dates. So remember the dates, to include the dates. Right? After you've transferred the amount to the ordinary share capital, I told you that excess 10 million will be used on the allotment stage. So 10 million times application money, you'll get 400 million. 10 million times 40. So remember, the 3 zeros are at the top. After saying so, now you are able to close this account. If you close, here on your credit side, you get 2 billion 600 million. Remember, the 3 zeros are on the top. And also when you add this and this and this, you will get 2,600,000,000. Until there, you are done with the application stage. You understand? You are done with the application stage. Let me explain once again. They have received application money for 2,600,000,000. How do you get it? You take number of application shares, which is 65 million, times application money per share 40 shillings. You get 2,600,000,000. Then you have to transfer it to the application account. Double entry, complete double entry. You say it came from bank, 2,600,000,000. Understand? After that, there were 15 million shares rejected. So 15 million times application money, you will get 600 million. 600 million. Debit side of ordinary share, you say it goes to bank account. Complete double entry, you say ordinary share, application 16 million, 600 million were rejected. After that, you need to transfer this amount, the difference of this amount to ordinary share capital. How do you transfer? You take the amount of issued capital times the application money, which is 40 million times 40 shillings per share. You get 1,600,000,000. After that, the amount of excess shares, which in our question was 10 million, it will be used to pay the next stage, which is called allotment stage. So 10 million times 40 shillings per share, you get 400 million. After that, your account is done, because this side will be equal to this side, hence application money received. Oh yes. Let's go to the next stage. Now, in the next stage, because our space is not enough, I'm going to erase. I'm going to what? I'm going to erase. But you, in your paper, please don't erase. Continue, because you have started by opening a bank account. So continue. After opening a bank account, underneath, open ordinary share application, just as how I did. Then after that, record once again the account which I'm continuing to record. But because of our space, I have to erase. Do you allow me to erase? I hear yes. So let me erase. Alright, let's continue. The next stage, and company is all about stages. Company is all about stages. There are 3 stages: application, allotment, and calls. So we're done with the application stage, right? So let's go to the next stage, which is the stage of allotment. Stage of allotment. So how do you allot shares? Remember, you have to open allotment account. Remember, in the previous account, known as ordinary share application account, we debited by saying 400 million will go to allotment stage. Do you remember? Do you remember? If you forgot, go back, press backwards in this video. But if you remember, you have to complete the entry. So the 400 million which appeared on the debit side of application account, you have to bring it on the credit side of allotment account. So you will say what does it mean? This means that there was 400 million excess money which is used to pay for ordinary share allotment stage. You get my point? If you do not understand, make sure you call me so that I can explain this question correctly for your understanding. After that, you will simply say amount to be transferred to ordinary share capital. Amount to be transferred where? Ordinary share capital. How do you know the amount to be transferred to the ordinary share capital account? So, what is the amount to be transferred to the ordinary share capital? What is the amount to be transferred to the ordinary share capital? You simply take 40 million shares times allotment money, Now, allotment money we were told was 30, right? But remember, these shares were issued at premium. So you take 30 minus 25 premium, which will get 5. 5 times 40 million, you'll get 200 million. Remember that there are 3 zeros at the top. Okay? After that, we'll take the remainder into share application, share premium account. Our premium was how many shillings? 25, right? So you take 40 million times 25 shillings per share. You'll get how much? 1 billion. Calculate. Take 40 million shares times 25 shillings per share. You get how much? 1 billion. Remember, there are 3 zeros at the top. So you add up, you get 1,200,000,000. The difference of this side and this side will be taken into the bank account. Why? It simply means that's the amount, that's the net amount to be paid at the allotment stage. So you take 1,200,000,000 minus 400 million. What is your answer? 800 million. So you record 800 million is the net amount to be transferred to the bank. You understand? Yeah. After saying that, this account is over because here is 1,200,000,000 and here is the same. Remember, there are 3 zeros, right? So name it here by saying it came from ordinary share allotments. How much? 800 million. Remember, there are 3 zeros at the top. So let me explain what I did. First step, you're going to say, you're going to credit this account by saying there was money paid in excess, which will be used to cover the allotment stage. So you take 40 million times the allotment money, you get 400 million. After that, you transfer this amount to the ordinary share account. Ordinary share capital account. Ordinary share capital account, how do you transfer? You take 40 million times 5. 40 million times 5, you get 200 million. Then the remainder 25 from that 30 will be taken to share premium. So you take 40 million times 25, the amount will be transferred to share premium account as 1 billion. After that, the total of this side minus this side will be the amount paid on the allotment stage, which will be 1,200,000,000 minus 400 million, you get 800 million. You get my point? Do you have any question until there? Any question? Do you have any question? I know you do have a question. So if you do have a question, there are numbers which are appearing on the below of your screen. Make sure you call me, alright? Call me and I'm going to explain to you. So in your paper, you must start with the bank account. Open the bank account. Beneath it is the application account, which we have already done. After that, we open the allotment account, which is this one. Now, because our space of our blackboard is small, I'm going to erase. But you, in your paper, do not erase. Continue. All right? Okay. As I told you, accounts is or for company is all about stages. Why? Because the method of payment used is installment, and hence they pay a little by little in every stage. The first stage was application. We saw how we recorded, right? The second stage is the allotment stage, which we've already recorded. Now, the third stage is called final call. Final call. So how do we record in a final call? And what is final call? This simply means it's the last stage which the company called the applicants to apply for the shares. And we're told they have to pay for the 40 million shares which they have applied. But sadly, only 32 million of the shareholders applied. Only 32 million. So there were 8 million who failed to apply, right? How do we record that? How do we record it? First of all, we're going to say that there were 8 million shares who failed to pay. We're going to take that in the account called call in arrears. I already explained what is called in arrears, right? If you didn't understand, fall back this video, go to the back of this video and you will get to my point what is called in arrears. So, call in arrears was, how do you get call in arrears? You take, they failed to pay. So take 8 million times 55. Have you done that? Have you taken 8 million times 55? What have you obtained? Answer. What have you obtained? You have obtained zeros, because our question has so many zeros, billions of money. This is how we summarize. So that's the first step. The second step, you transfer the amount to the ordinary share capital. So how do you transfer the amount to the ordinary share capital? You simply take 40 million shares which they wanted to raise, so times 55, which is the final call money per share. So when you multiply 40 times 55, what do you get? 40 times 55, you get 2 billion 200 million. 2 billion and 200 million. You understand? So you transfer the amount to where? Ordinary share capital account. By taking 40 million times 55 shillings per share, you get 2 billion 200 million. Alright? So the difference, say the difference. The difference between debit and credit side will be the amount paid on final call, which is to be taken to the bank account. Okay, take your calculator, calculate 2 billion and 200 million minus 440 million. What do you get? Calculate. What do you get there? You'll get 1 billion 760 million. Remember, there are 3 zeros already at the top. Yes. Am I? Okay, so after doing so, this account is finished, right? Because debit side will be equals to credit side. So you close. So that brings us to the end of the last stage, which is the final call stage. Let me explain what I did. First of all, you have to say that 8 million shares holders failed to pay. So you take 8 million times application money, which is 55. 8 million times 55, you get 440 million. After that, you transfer the amount to ordinary share capital. By taking 40 million times final call money 55, you get 2 billion 200 million, right? After that, you take the difference, 2 billion and 200 million minus 440 million, you get 1 billion 760 million. That's the net amount to be paid in the bank account. So you have to complete the entry. In your bank account, you say there was final call money received 1 billion 760 million. You get my point? You got my point? And that brings us the end of the final call account. So in your question, the first account to start with will be bank account, followed by application account, followed by allotment account, then followed by final call account. Remember to arrange them sequentially. But also remember to write the dates. Remember to write what? The dates. So this is what we'll do. Let's go to the next accounts. Okay, the next account to be opened will be called call in arrears. What is called in arrears? It's the amount of money, or it's the amount of shares which have been failed to be paid. And in our question, how many shares failed to be paid? 8 million shares. So 8 million times 55 shillings, because they failed to pay at the final call stage, right? So you take 8 million times 55, you get 440 million, right? And we have seen in the previous account that it was recorded on the credit side of the final call account. So you have to complete double entry. Say double entry, say double entry, complete double entry. So since it was on the credit side, on this account it will be on the debit side. You will say, if you didn't understand, make sure you call me through the numbers below. After that, we were told that these 8 million shares were forfeited, right? And what did we say forfeit is? Forfeiting means to cancel, to take back those shares which they were given to the shareholders. So we have to say these shares were forfeited. We will take it to the account called Forfeiture account. How much? 8 million shares. So you take 8 million times 55, simply it's 440. We take it to the Forfeiture account. You get my point? So this account will be closed. What do? You open Forfeiture account below this account. You open Forfeiture account. So the next stage is Forfeiture account. Forfeiture account. So after saying that we credit call in arrears account by taking it to the forfeiture, we have to complete double entry. Complete double entry. Double entry of this account, which is on the credit side, will open forfeiture. On the debit side, we will say it came from call in arrears. How much? 440 million. Remember to put the 3 zeros. Also here, remember to put the 3 zeros. Okay. After that, we take the amount to be transferred to the ordinary share capital by taking 8 million shares. 8 million shares times final call money, because this money failed to be paid at the final call. You get, you take 8 million shares times the nominal value, which is 100 shillings per share. You get 800 million. So the amount to be taken to ordinary these shares which were forfeited, they included premium, right? They included premium, and the value of premium was 25. The value of premium was what? 25. So you take 25 shillings times 8. You'll get 200 million. So you say these shares contain ordinary share premium. How much? 200 million. Find the difference by closing this account. It will be 1 billion. By closing this account, 1 million. How do you find the balance? Carry down. Balance carried down is equal to 1 billion minus 440 million. You will get 560 million.